Is your child struggling with multiplication? Well, you're in luck. Today I have 5 tips on how to make multiplication visual. That's right, 5 of them. These are easy. Some of them require a little bit of practice, but either way, it's much easier than memorizing all of the facts. My name is Kathleen, and I'm a dyslexic here to help other dyslexics. I help busy, overwhelmed parents understand their child's frustration with dyslexia so they can support, encourage, and empower them. It's time to make multiplication visual, and I have been researching and studying. None of these are my ideas, but I have found others to be able to put them together to help your child better understand multiplication without multiplying. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is a repeat from the tips and tricks, but it's always a tried and true. It's great. So using your fingers to do the 9 times tables. So you hold up both sets of fingers, and this is great because you always have your fingers with you, and you're going to count over. So we're just going to try 9 times 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to fold that finger down. Then our first hand are the tens. So we have 5 tens. And the second hand is what we put in the ones place or the units place, which is 4. So 54. Tried and true, it works every single time. You can also do times 3. So 1, 2, 3, fold it down. You've got 2 in the tens place, and you've got 7 in the ones place. And there you have it. It works every single time. Make sure your child understands this one because it's really fun. Tip number 2 is teach your child how to create arrays so they can solve the problems themselves. So yes, I have talked about array multiplication cards, and I'm going to go ahead and link that right here for you so you can see that the arrays multiplication cards and how to create them. But you can also teach your child easily how to do it themselves. And so here's an example. We're going to go 3 times 4. So you're going to draw 3 dots across. You can do it either way. There's no wrong answer. 3 across, and then right here, 4 down. Okay? So that's all you have to do. Then we're just going to color in the rest of the dots to make a rectangle or a square. So here, and then all they have to do is count the dots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 times 4 is 12. So that's a much easier way. If you don't have time to create the cards, you can teach them how to do it themselves. For tip number 3, we are bringing back the fingers again. I'm so excited. So this one is going to be for those harder facts. So 6 times 6 all the way to 10 times 10. Anything with a 5 doesn't work. 4, 3, 2, 1. But anything with a 6 or a 7 or an 8 or a 9 or a 10 works. Although 10s, I think they're going to know, so you don't have to do this. And 9s, I still would recommend tip number 1 with that. But for those harder facts like 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, or 7 times 8, 6 times 8, those all become very easy with this. There are a few steps, so it does take some practice. But once you understand it, it becomes fun. So here we go. I also have a PDF that I'm going to link below. That's a free printable that I would definitely recommend printing out because it helps explain the steps. So what you're going to do is, here we go. Our thumbs represent 6. These represent 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, okay? So now we're going to figure out the problem. So let's go 7 times 8. So here's my 7. Here's my 8. We're going to put them together. The fingers away from me are going to fold down to be used later. Now we're going to count the numbers that are up. We're going to count by 10. So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Remember the 50 for later? You can write it down on a piece of paper. So we've married, we've counted. Now we're going to multiply. So we're going to take our fingers that are folded down and we're going to multiply those. So 2 times 3 is 6. Now we're going to add. So we're going to take that 50 that we solved with the fingers up and plus 6 to the fingers that are down. And so that's 56. There it is. And so I worked with a parent to help come up with a mnemonic for this. So it's Mary cooks muffins a lot. So marry them, put them together, count by tens, multiply the fingers, and then add them together. Okay? So this does take time. I also want to do a harder one with you because it takes a little more explanation. Let's do 6 times 6. So we're going to take our two thumbs, we're going to marry them together. Okay? Now we're going to count what's up. 10, 20. We're going to write the 20 down for later. Now we're going to multiply. So we've got 4 times 4 is 16. Now we're going to add those together. So we've got 20 plus 16 gives us 36. There's your answer. Another one that's kind of fun is 7 times 7. So we're going to marry our fingers together. We have got 4 up, and then we've got 3 times 3 is 9. So 40 plus 9 is 49. Tip number 4 comes from a curriculum that I've recently been using and tutoring students on, and I absolutely love it. It is called Mathuc, and it literally makes math visual. So if you're a homeschool parent and you're looking for a math curriculum, this is one I would absolutely check out. I absolutely love it. So the nice thing about this is you can start to use things to solve the bigger ones. So like 12 times 12. So now we're going to take and build them with manipulatives. And so I have the manipulatives over here. So what we do is we take our hundreds, and so you can tell that this is 10 by 10 equals 100. But we are going to try 12 by 12. So we're going to make the array. As you can see, the array is coming back. So I've got 12 across, and now let's build 12 down. But as you can see, it's not a perfect square at this point. So we have to add the units or the ones. So I'm going to pop those over here. And at this point, we have a perfect square. But the idea is now to solve the problem. So we're going to start breaking it apart to give us the answer. So 12 times 12, so we've got 100. Then we're going to take the tens and put them together, 44. Do you see how that was built? And you didn't have to do any math, you just built it out. So now let's look at the next example. I've got 13 by 13, so you can see the hundreds. Then we've got 3 to make it across, and then we've got 3 across. And then to round, to make the square, we go ahead and add the units. So let's go ahead and break this apart to solve it. So we've got 100, then we've got 6 tens and 9 units, okay? Or ones. So we've got 169 is 13 by 13. I know what you're thinking. That's awesome. I love that tip. But what if my child doesn't have access to manipulatives and we're not always going to have them? I've got you covered. There's one more tip. Tip number 5 is my new favorite. Actually, every single one of these is my favorite. I love that it makes it so much easier. You can absolutely see what's going on. So tip number 5 is Japanese. And this is something that's been floating around. I've literally been mind blown the entire time that I've seen it, but I finally sat down and played with it and learned how to do it. So I'm going to explain it to you. So this is a Japanese trick, and I love it because you don't have to do math. You just have to understand how to draw lines and circles. And you also have to understand the place value of things. So hundreds, tens, units. And the best part is that this can be done with 2-digit by 2-digit, 2-digit by 3-digit, 3-digit by 3-digit. It takes a little bit longer. So let's just start with the basics. So we're going to do the same 12 by 12 again. So here it is, 12 by 12, okay? And so we're going to start drawing out lines. And it is ideal to draw these vertical. So watch how I do this. So I'm going to draw 1. We're going to turn the 12 into lines. Then we're going to skip some space, okay? Because those are 2 different digits. Then 2, okay? Now we're going to come back down and we're going to build a 12 again. So 1, 2, okay? So now the key piece to this is to understand that this is how it works. And so here we've got our ones. Here we've got our tens. And here we've got the hundreds. That is the key part to this to making it work. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw dots at the intersections. So for the first one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to write 4 right here. Now we're going to do it again for the tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got 4 here. Then we've got 1 right here. And so as you can see, we've worked it around. So 12 times 12 is 144. How awesome is that? I just love this. So now let's do it again with harder numbers. Next problem, let's do 21 by 12, okay? So we're going to draw 2 lines close together, give it a little space, and then the 1. Now we're going to come back and we're going to do 1 and then the 2. Do you see the lines? Okay. Now let's remember that we've got the ones here, we've got the tens here, and we've got the hundreds here. Okay, so let's start counting. We always start with the tens or the ones. So we've got 2. Now let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we've got 2. 2. So we've got 252. And if you would like to check that on your calculator, 21 times 12 is 252. What do you think? It's pretty cool, right? And the best part is that you can start. And so there are a few tips and tricks to remember with this. If there are several, like in the ones place or something, and let's say you have a 12, then you're going to have to teach your child that it will automatically go up here and become a 6. You can also do this for 3-digit by 3-digit, but you have to make sure the diagonals are lined up. So let's try a 3-digit by 2-digit so you can see how that one works. Okay, so we've got 123 times 24. How about that? Okay, super easy. So we've got 1 with a space, then we've got 2, and then another space, and then we've got 3. Okay, trying to see if you can see that. Okay, now we're going to come back and we're going to do this one. So 2 lines together and then 4 lines together. Okay, so there are going to be a few more intersections here. So we've still got the ones. Now we've got the tens. Okay, whoop. Forgot that intersection. Okay, now we've got the hundreds and we've got the thousands. So the exact same thing. So let's just start counting them up. So we've got 1, I didn't quite circle it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so what we were talking about, that we're going to have to carry this over there. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've got 14, but remember we had to carry this, so we're going to get rid of this and we're going to make this a 15. So we're going to have to carry again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 1 is 9, so I got rid of that. And then we've got 2. Okay, Let's do this one. So our answer is 2,952. Let's do it on a calculator and make sure we're correct. So 123 times 24 is 2,952. What do you think? It's pretty awesome. Again, it does take practice. I love it. But once you figure it out and you really see the place value part, so make sure your child understands place value before you dive into this one. But once they do, the circles and the drawings, it becomes much easier. If you notice, I didn't do any math with that and I got the answer right. There you have it. 5 new ways to make multiplication much easier. And as you noticed, most of those don't even require them to memorize or do anything. So all of these strategies I absolutely love. It's nice to have extra strategies in your back pocket when it comes to multiplication. So take your time when introducing these to your child and practice and help them fall in love with these strategies. If you like this, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye, guys.